Welcome to the Showgirl Connection. I'm your host, Luann. So today I have Diane Christiansen back with me.
Hi.
And Diane was on the first 3 episodes of the Showgirl Connection.
Yeah.
And then she came back for one more as the co-host when we interviewed Linda Spinks
Oh, that was
and
fun.
Jill Rader.
That was fun.
And so thank you for coming back again.
Oh, thank you for having me back. It's always a thrill. And we always never stop talking about being showgirls.
That's
so
right.
there's that.
So our whole life is just talking about showgirls. It just never ends.
If anyone resurrected the showgirl, it's us.
And speaking of resurrecting the showgirl,
This last year has been amazing.
yeah.
I mean, between Taylor Swift's new album, The Life of a Showgirl,
Right.
and the movie The Last Showgirl, with a similar title to my book, Dita Von Teese bringing back the Bob Mackie costumes from Jubilee.
In her show.
In her show. And, you know, even the movie Substance had a really nice showgirl segment. I don't know if you saw the movie.
I have not seen it.
With Demi Moore. It was up for an Oscar. She
Oh, that
was
was
up
a
for
while-
Best Actress.
that was a while ago.
Yeah, that was last winter.
It was?
But this whole year, this whole
Yeah.
last year,
Yeah.
has been such a resurgence
You know,
of
this-
showgirl activity, and it's exciting.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because I was thinking about that because we were talking about showgirls earlier today.
Yes, we
And I was
were.
thinking about the fact, you know, how the name showgirl keeps changing and changing. And if you go back to the
Yes.
1800s, the showgirls used to be called chorus girls.
Right.
So it's just been a really interesting evolution of the showgirl. And I've always been such a purist about it. But then I started thinking, you know what? Everybody would love to be a showgirl. So that's almost a compliment to us, even though sometimes they aren't represented
is.
clearly or fairly
It is.
or rightly
It's
so.
true.
But
It's true. But, you know, also, I think there's a fascination with showgirls because it's vintage now.
that's true.
And, you know,
Yeah.
people are curious about what they don't have and history. So there's that aspect of it, too. And I think that the fact that younger performers like Taylor Swift want to bring that to front and center again.
Oh, they want to
is
bring that
really
elegance
exciting.
in those costumes.
That's a Jubilee costume, too. That's a Bob Mackie costume she wore on her
That's
album
right.
cover as well.
That was from the
So,
finale
yeah.
costume from Bob Mackie. They were called the Jewel Box.
Yes.
And they had, 6 purple, 6 red, 6
Yeah.
green, and then they had the 3 white ones in the
Right.
center. And she's wearing the jewels
The body jewels.
from the white.
Mhm.
From the white.
And it's a
costume.
beautiful thing.
It really
And
is.
there's, rewinding back to what you said about the definition of showgirl, I mean, there is a thing back in the turn of the century, probably the Moulin Rouge, which is ancient. And if you go back to the time of Toulouse-Lautrec with the Can-Can girls, I mean, once a girl would show her breasts, she became a show girl. That was actually a fact. That's actually a documented fact.
Wow.
So
that was,
that's really how that term started.
okay.
It's taken many incarnations and
Yeah, it really has.
transformations along the way. But we lived at the height of the showgirl.
Yes, we did.
And we lived in an era that presented showgirls in the absolute most glamorous,
And celebrated
beautiful
the beauty of
settings.
the female body and the costumes.
The art form
The whole art form.
of the dancing nude. And in addition to being classical trained dancers,
Yeah.
you know, we were the real deal.
We
We
were.
were more than that. You know, I remember when we were at the Stardust. Luann and I just missed each other at the Stardust. I left just before she came in, but we wore those opening sable fur Falco
Yes.
costumes. Those
Yes.
were, I heard that those were $60,000 a piece in the
Back in the day.
mid-70s.
Well, it was those white fox furs. It was the Swarovski
It
crystals.
was sable.
It was sable?
It was sable.
Yeah.
See, I was a costume designer, so
Yeah.
inquiring minds want to know
Yeah.
about these
Wow.
things.
So if it was sable, that's...
And I remember,
I remember
one of the
being-
boys, I think it might have been the line captain, telling me those were $60,000 when they were created, each one. So if you look at the art in the costumes and Falco,
And they spared no expense.
no expense,
And
especially not.
That's probably why those shows, people keep saying, are those shows going to come back? Well, people are going to have to spend a lot of money. When they
That's a
opened up
lot of
Jubilee in
money.
1980, the show cost $10 million
Yeah.
in 1980.
Yeah.
There was a worldwide shortage of Swarovski crystals.
Yeah.
So think of like inflation from
Exactly.
1980, $10 million for that show.
And they imported all of the Ale Lido costumes
Yeah.
from Paris.
Yeah.
Because they paid tariffs. And they didn't want them to go back out when the show closed because they would have to pay higher tariffs.
And they didn't want them to be seen in any other show either.
No.
So the girls have those stories where they ran off the stage and they had big incinerators in a parking lot and they were throwing those costumes into those incinerators and burning them.
But I do
And the
know-
dressers were pulling the jewels off, to use for the next set of costumes coming
Yes. And when you think about it, every single piece of body jewel was lined with the sturdiest fabrics. It was all hand stitched
in. In metal.
in metal and lame and cotton and lined and relined, and every jewel was every costume
Yeah.
was handcrafted
I
by the
wonder-
French.
And those tariffs were always, I wonder what would be going on today
Well,
with the tariffs.
that's unimaginable.
Yeah.
So importing costumes. So it was wise of Don Arden and Miss Bluebell to hire American designers for Jubilee.
Yes.
Because they had Pete Menefee and they had Bob Mackie, and at that point they weren't being made in France.
Right. And
But
Hello
they were
Hollywood,
still the
hello.
same quality.
Yeah, Hello Hollywood, hello as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was such an art too,
Yeah.
just to even create those costumes.
Oh, absolutely. And you don't see that. You don't go, oh, I'm going to be a showgirl for Halloween. You bedazzle a bra. Not the same.
No.
No,
Not-
not the same.
No.
I mean, they were sturdy. They're still around. You still have some.
The Showgirl Legacy Foundation has just a small
Yes.
collections of costumes
Yes.
that have been donated by the Karen Burns Costume Collection
Yes.
and the Folies Bergère.
Exactly.
So, but not just a small handful of them.
Yeah,
Yeah. In fact,
Yeah.
I think this is Hello Hollywood, hello.
right,
This is Folies Bergère.
right. Good for you for
So-
collecting these. It's wonderful.
Yes.
And the things that we have used on various shows here with John have been, coveted pieces. And also, I know a few other people that worked at the Stardust with us, I won't mention any names, who grabbed a bracelet or
Okay.
who kept a bra,
Well, yeah.
a
because-
jeweled, because the Lido jewels were unsurpassed.
And they were being destroyed.
And they were,
I mean, so to think, unless people took a piece out here and a piece out there, they were being destroyed. I remember when I organized a reunion in 2006 at the Stardust, and then they brought me back to help with the auction, and there were just a few costumes backstage. There were the Enter the Night costumes backstage that they
Right.
were auctioning off. But there was a box of Lido jewels that had been, tucked away somewhere, and I know they got auctioned off, but, there just wasn't any of those costumes left.
no, and I've asked people like Grant Filippo, do you know what happened to the toilet seat that Barbara Beverly wore? Because that was such an iconic
Yes.
costume. It's a funny name for a showgirl costume, but
But if
that's
you
what
saw
we
it,
caught. If you
right,
saw
if
it,
you saw
you'd
it, you
get
would
it.
know.
And I know that piece, that photo has been reproduced by your art students
Our
as well.
Sketching Showgirl program.
Yeah, so you
Yes.
can see the toilet seat costume there.
Yes.
And it was on billboards
Yeah.
throughout Las Vegas back in the day when we were working at the Stardust. And Grant said to me that he thought it was sold to someone in New Jersey, that one costume.
Interesting.
And I said, well, was it used in a production? And he said he didn't know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of costumes and speaking of Barbara Beverly,
Uh-huh.
that brings me around to your book, The Last Real Showgirl. Because
Yes.
Barbara Beverly's part of your book, and she was a
She's my
big part of
cohort.
your life.
Yeah,
big
she
part of
still
your life.
is.
But when you came on in April, your book had just been released.
Yes.
So can you talk to us a little bit more about the process of what's been going on with your book? And can you talk about what it takes to publish a book? Because I know just from, being in your life, there was a big process to publishing that
It
book.
was.
And to even writing that book. I mean, didn't that take you 15 years?
The book, I actually spent 18 years writing the book. And I started at the Stardust reunion when Stardust was going to be imploded, and you created that amazing reunion, you and Spinks, and 650 people there, and that's when I met you. Really, I mean, I think
Yes.
I'd seen you come backstage at the Stardust, but
Yeah.
we really met and got to know each other then, and really bonded in Paris. But that's when I got the idea to write the book. I looked around at these 5 generations of dancers that had attended from all over the world, and choreographers and costume designers and stagehands and wardrobe mistresses, and I mean, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it was such a wonderful, and I looked around and I thought, this is really ending. This is winding down.
And
this
we never
is
thought
about to end.
We never thought that in our lifetime we would see those shows end.
No.
I mean, they dominated the strip from like 1958 to 2016.
Yeah.
I mean, those were...
Even a little earlier. I know that the Lido came in 58, but I think there were others here first. And...
Oh, right, the Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
The Moulin Rouge.
So I started writing the book, and I
Okay.
thought, oh, I'm not a writer. Here's what I thought. I thought, I'm just going to write some stories, because I have some interesting stories from the 70s, and I wanted to write about those stories. So I started writing stories, and I would just handwrite it and put it away. When I had a little time, I would handwrite another story and put it away. And I just wrote my stories of being a showgirl. So that collection grew in volumes, and I think I had my daughter transcribe them digitally into my computer when she was around 20, and she's 36 now.
Wow.
So I had her
Time
do
flies.
that, and I would dabble in a writing class here, or a writing class there, or a writing class here, but it wasn't consistent. And I wasn't consistent because I was running my acting studio, my 33-year acting studio in LA. So I started to get serious about it. You're going to love this. When I couldn't remember people's names. And I'm like, who was that? Wait a minute. Who was that girl that Rudis hired back in the Bahamas? And I'd call it Barbara. Barbara, who was that girl? She's like, I don't remember her name. She was only there a week. I said, was it Tracy? She goes, was it Linda? So then I thought,
Yeah.
I'm going to write this book. I'm going to finish this book. I got into 2 writing classes. I had 2 writing classes a week. And 2 different teachers, 2 different approaches. One was a 5-time published author, and one was just a really creative person who had also been an acting coach at one time.
Okay.
And she had me go really deep with my childhood, which I wasn't really necessarily wanting to do.
Yeah.
And then my other one helped me with structure. And that's the year that coach, the one with the structure who'd been published 5 times, said, you're finishing your book this year. And I said, and this was in January, and I said, okay, I like that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And she really held me accountable.
Yeah.
So, and then my other teacher had me going really deep and going through my story. She said, you've got to have a foundation in a memoir of where you came from, or nobody cares. And that's true. And I know as an acting coach that if you can't be real with your own story,
Yeah.
you're never going to be an organic, honest actor. So artists have to be truthful.
Yeah.
So once I wrote the really hard stories to write, then the book just flowed through me. It
Wow.
all just came. And I finished it, and it was about 130,000 words.
Dang.
And I finished it up, and then I put together a proposal with the published writing coach, and that took 4 months because a proposal is very involved and very detailed and very exact. And I put that together, and then we sent the proposal to 10 talent agents who had literary divisions
Interesting.
that I knew
Yeah.
from being an acting coach and who come to our showcases
Yeah.
and that I care about and that I like. And 6 of them got back to me out of 10. 4 of them said, we don't have a literary division, not my world, I wish I could help you, I love you. But the one that was really excited said, our literary division is only a year old, but we're very interested after reading your proposal. And they signed me. So I got signed by a literary manager, and people say to me, well, that's because you have connections. Yeah,
Well, yeah.
you use your resources
Yes.
when you get to be our age,
Yeah.
right? If you don't
Good idea. Yeah.
you utilize your resources. So I have a wonderful manager, and she put me through my paces. She put me through 9 months of
9 months.
beta readers.
Wow.
She had me get beta readers that I knew and that I didn't know. They were amazing. I did 2 rewrites, and then I hired a professional editor from Fiverr that my manager liked using, who had worked for Simon and Schuster as an editor, and I paid her to edit my book.
So how many words was it by the time you went through that whole process?
Well, it was about 125,000. And she helped me really get it ready for my manager to start pitching to publishers. So that took, collectively, that was almost 2 years.
Wow.
Almost 2 years. It was about a year and a half. And then she pitched it, and within the first 3 weeks, I had 2 publishers give us an offer. And I went with McFarland because they're academic.
So what does an offer include?
Well, when you're a first-time author,
Yeah.
it doesn't include a lot.
Oh, okay.
It's not the old days where they send
Yeah.
you,
A jet.
200. Well, that's for J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore. They do advances with established authors
Okay.
who have proven themselves with bestsellers. First-time authors, well, first of all, I was very lucky to have the manager I had, who was very good and very in love with my book. I decided on McFarland as opposed to Rand Smith, even though Rand Smith was a little bit more brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
McFarland was a little smaller, but McFarland's academic.
Yeah.
They assure you to be in every library in the country.
And you are at the Special Collections Department at UNLV.
I know.
With Sue Kim Chun.
Thanks to Sue Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Luann. So I went with McFarland, and then they had me take out, they had me do so much. They had me take out 25,000 words.
Wow. How do you decide to
It's
take out
hard.
25,000
It's hard. Then
words?
they had me restructure my chapters so that they were more even
Okay.
and equal
Yeah.
in length, as opposed to a really long chapter and then a quick chapter, which
Wow.
I thought was kind of cool, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So, and then they had me submit photos that were high resolution the way they wanted them,
Mhm.
which means I had to reconfigure all of those. And then I had to get permission slips from anybody in the photos that were not publicity photos. I had to get permission. So I had to find the people. I couldn't find all of the people. They're including my first husband, who's gone, and I couldn't find anyone in his family. There were a lot of people I couldn't use photos of.
Wow.
Now, any publicity photo that I used is fine,
Yeah.
like Siegfried and Roy, or the Lido,
Yeah.
or,
Or the programs.
yeah,
Yeah.
or Miller Reich dancers, or Riddis dancers, or Le Clique.
Well, what about pictures that you took backstage?
Those are my collection, as long as I got permission from anybody in
In them.
those photos.
Got it.
So I
Yeah.
did get permission from 2 of our boys who were very close to me, whose sisters gave me permission. And that was Bob Michaels and James Maxwell. So I got to use a picture of a couple of the boys that are no longer with us.
Yeah.
And so that was a whole process.
Yeah, sounds
and
like
then
it.
I had to do a bibliography. Then I had to do an index.
Wow.
Then I had to change some names. And I had to take out anything that could get the publisher sued,
Huh. Wow.
because they're very risk averse.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So are the indexes for like because it's at the university that if somebody's looking up something about Showgirls or the Moulin Rouge or
Right? Or the Stardust.
that's where
or
that's why you're
anything.
indexing it for that reason.
I had to go
Because
through it.
not everybody indexes.
The publisher
you?
said to me, it's always best that you do the indexing because you know your book.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And they gave me some examples, and that was very tedious.
I remember you doing that.
That was so much work. So there's so much more work than you can even imagine.
Oh yeah.
For the amount of money that you wind up making, you invest a lot more, I think. Unless it becomes a bestseller. And if it becomes a limited series, which is the next thing on our agenda, and my
Okay.
manager's working on that now.
All right.
She's pitching it, because I did hire a lawyer and make sure I maintained the dramatic rights. And that was another expense,
Yeah.
another fee, another adventure.
Wow. Wow.
So then I had to do that. Do you know that the woman that wrote *Handmaid's Tale* didn't get a dime for that
The movie?
series, for the TV show, for the series? She did not
that
get a
just-
dime for that because she didn't know it would ever become a series, and she didn't have her publisher incorporate that into her contract. So
Wow.
But contracts with publishers are interesting too, because you're not allowed to use AI for your writing. You sign.
Good.
And they aren't either. They aren't either, and publicists aren't either. So, there's so much more to it that for somebody to say, "Oh, are you going to write another one about the next 15 years?" It's like, not right now.
I mean, just work.
Oh
well,
my gosh.
You're still working with this book.
Well, I am, and we are actively, my manager's actively pitching it to people like Shonda Rhimes and Brad Pitt and the TV production companies that do amazing shows, because I really want us to be depicted realistically.
Thank you.
And we are the real deal. And when
Yes,
you
we
read the
are.
book, there's no doubt about a
Yeah.
real life with its ups and downs and challenges. And it's a coming of age story. So growing up in the business
Yeah.
of the great cabaret spectaculars isn't a thing unto itself.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to be turned in. So I'm turned into a Hollywood meme.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm really, really not willing to sell the dramatic rights to someone who isn't willing to have me be at least a creative consultant.
Good. Well, let's take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, Diane, I want to talk about what you're doing with the book now, and I know you're in town this weekend for a couple of events. So we'll be back. So don't go away. The Showgirl Legacy Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to preserving the historic significance of the iconic showgirl as a performing artist. We achieve this through curriculum-based educational programs in partnership with the Las Vegas Academy of the Arts. The program includes a panel of entertainers and showgirls modeling authentic costumes for the visual arts students to paint. The students submit their artwork to the Showgirl Art Competition that becomes the annual Showgirl Art and Costume Exhibit. The foundation also represents guest speakers that give historical presentations about the Las Vegas stage show spectaculars and their personal experiences. The speaker brings authentic show costumes for photo ops and tailors their presentations for conferences, conventions, luncheons, museums, and other venues. Recently added to the foundation's repertoire is the talk show The Showgirl Connection with your host, Luann. She interviews former and current showgirls, dancers, entertainers, and all the people behind the scenes that make the magic happen. The Showgirl Connection wouldn't be possible without the partnership and support of WWDBTV and owner John Stiles. Learn more about us at showgirllegacy.org and castandcrewreunion.com. For questions, email us at info@showgirllegacy.org. Hey, hi, we're back at the Showgirl Connection. I'm here with Diane Christiansen. And so we've been talking about her book, what it takes to get your book published. And now we're just going to wrap it up because Diane is here in town, of course, to see me and to be on the show. But she's also here for a couple of other reasons. So
Yeah.
tell us where you are now with the book.
Okay.
And what you're doing this weekend.
Well, the good news is the book is selling.
Good.
That's the great
That's
news.
Good news.
That's the really great news.
Yeah.
The other great news is, and I have to give credit to my publicist in Vegas, because Allison Alexander has been phenomenal. She's helped me so much. So this morning I did my second Fox 5 More show.
Nice.
Promoting the book, and promoting the book signing tomorrow at Barnes & Noble in Henderson from
Okay.
1 to 3 o'clock.
All right.
There'll be a lot of real showgirls there.
Yes.
And we're excited about that.
And I know you're going to have some
because-
beautiful headpieces from the Showgirl Legacy Foundation
Yes, we are.
collection.
We're going to have some displays. We're going to have some giveaways. I'll be signing books. There'll be photo ops with lots of significant showgirls from our era. And then some.
Yes.
There are a lot of people coming I've never met. And I'm very excited about that, at least the ones that have RSVP. So that's really exciting to meet newer dancers.
Yeah, so come on down, have a cup of coffee,
And get a book.
Get a book.
And read the real
book.
stories. You've read it.
I've read it. It's a great book.
It's the real deal.
Yeah, it's one of those books that once you start reading, it's really hard to put down. Just a really nice,
Good.
easy read. You've got a great flow.
Thank you.
And it's very interesting.
I know you
Very
think
intriguing.
it reminds you of Cassandra Peterson's
Yes.
book. And that's interesting. Her book, Cruelly Yours, because we're the same age.
Yep.
So we
some
even
of
knew the same people.
Well, and she was a dancer
She was a
briefly in Las Vegas.
Viva la Girls.
Yes. So she's got a little bit of that same
Yeah, she worked
history.
for Ronnie Lewis. Yeah. That's how
Yeah.
she started. So I'm really looking forward to the book signing, not only because I'm excited about selling books, but because I'm excited about seeing our pals. Every time I come to Vegas, I get to see a different set of our show folk.
Yes.
Or see a new show with Luann or some other friends. And that's really exciting to me, to be able to reunite with our community.
Right. Well, and I imagine Vegas is still near and dear to your heart because
Always.
you spent some time in Vegas.
And I've never stopped coming back to visit.
Yeah.
So this is, Barbara Beverly said to me, you think you'll ever move to Vegas? I said, I don't think I'll leave my granddaughters in LA. No.
No, probably not. But hey, you come here quite often. And
I do.
And I love hearing that your book is doing well.
Me too. I'm so excited that people like it.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
and you made some cute little bookmarks too.
We have
Go on.
bookmarks for our guests and photo ops, and we'll have headpieces there from the Showgirl Legacy Foundation, and it just promises to be a fun event.
Fun
And
afternoon.
I'm really grateful to Barnes & Noble
Yes.
for having us, because actually my publicists in New York and Vegas have told me that book signings aren't that popular
Yeah,
anymore.
that's what you said. I was surprised.
I was too.
Yeah.
Book launches are a much bigger deal now. And that's a big party for the book.
Okay.
With
Because I was
reading.
going to say, explain the difference between a book launch and a book signing.
It depends on the author. If you
Yeah.
are a big author like Stephen King, the publisher pays for that launch. If you are a new author like myself,
Yeah.
I would pay for that launch.
Got
So, I'm looking at venues in Los Angeles for that now.
Okay.
And I'll probably do that early in the year, unless I'm out of the country doing something cooler.
You never know. Never know where
I don't know
Diane's
what could
gonna
be
show up.
cooler than a launch, but
yeah, what could be cooler than a launch?
yeah, I've got some places
your
in
book.
mind, so
Good.
I'll invite all of our pals to that too.
Well, I am so excited that you got that book published and
Me
it's
too.
out there, and I know a lot of my friends have gotten your book and really like it.
Oh,
And I
Great.
think if you've already gotten the book, they can bring their book so you can
to
sign
have it signed tomorrow,
Yep.
absolutely.
I know some of the girls are
So
doing that.
Barnes and Noble in Henderson, and there'll be plenty of books for sale. Barnes and Noble has the book. You can get it there. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it at thelastrealshowgirl.com. You can get it on Goodreads. You can get it at McFarland Publishing. So there are many places to get it. But if you come tomorrow, you get it signed.
There you go. Okay. So what do you think? You think that's a wrap, or is there anything else that you want to talk about? Anything else we want to talk about?
I don't think so.
I think this is a wrap for now, but we'll
Yeah.
definitely have you back when I know you're working on now, getting a series,
Getting a limited
a
series
limited
made.
series, and then I know you're working on some other little projects that,
I have a few.
yeah,
That
So
are
we'll
in
just
the works.
love to keep.
Around the book.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we love to have you on,
Yeah.
and we love for you to keep us posted. And
Thank you.
And,
I'm so grateful to be back. It's
Oh.
just like coming home.
yeah, well, you
Yeah.
were instrumental in helping me launch this talk show.
I remember the day we sat at my house in LA, or it was at my studio, my acting studio,
Yes.
making lists of
You-
names for the
yes,
show.
You came up with a whole list of maybe 20 names.
I love
for
to
the
name
show.
things.
Yeah, and so I'm very thankful.
Yeah, we
That
finally
you-
concluded that that's what you do.
Is the
Best.
connecting us all.
Yep.
And I mean, showgirls are great. I mean, and just that bond that we created when we were all into shows together.
It's
And
very intimate.
It really is.
It's emotionally very intimate and rewarding, and we're very lucky to have as many people as we do have around still,
Yes.
because we don't have them all.
No, we don't.
Bless them.
I know.
Bless them.
Okay, so the next time we see you, well, we'll see you tomorrow at Barnes & Noble in
Yeah,
Henderson for the
yeah.
book signing between 1 and 3.
Yeah.
And then we'll have you back again soon when your limited series gets signed.
Oh, Your mouth to Shonda Rhimes' ears.
Okay.
She's the same as God, so.
So, thanks again, and we'll see you at the next Showgirl Connection. But before that, we'll see you at the Henderson Barnes & Noble bookstore tomorrow between 1 and 3.